This is the second time I recorded this because my fucking iMovie isn't working very well. But hello, I'm Sarah. I live in a really small town in Ohio called Germantown, Ohio, and it's about 4,000, a little over 4,000 people. It's a farm town. And my great uncle, my grandma's, my great grandmother's brother, I don't know how it goes, but he helped found the town. And for the first 50 to 100 years, the main language was German. And we had this thing called the Pretzel Festival, which a lot of people go to because there's nothing else to do. It's not particularly German themed. There are pretzels, but it's not particularly German themed. Everything in my town revolves around football because we've all won state championships and stuff, and small towns, that's what we do. But I never played any sports. I was a cheerleader for a brief while, believe it or not. Excuse me, for from about 34th grade to about 8th, and then I quit because we had to try out then, and I can't even do a damn cartwheel, and so I stopped doing that. And I used to hate living in a small town, but I really like it now because you have to have an imagination, and you have to go outside. Well, you don't have to go outside, but there's a lot of stuff to do, and so we would go. I live in the woods, and I couldn't go over to anyone's houses if they had cats or dogs because I'm allergic to them, and that's pretty much everyone. So we would go to my house, and in back of my house, I live in the woods, and there's a creek, and we used to go down there, and we used to swim and fish, and picnic and all this shit. And I didn't hang out with the best crew. I never drank. I've been drunk twice in my life. I've never even smoked a cigarette, let alone done any sort of drug whatsoever. I'm really lame. But they all did, and still do, some of them. So I don't care what you do. But as a result of that, and of a lot of things, I wasn't at school a lot because I was so sick. I got really bad grades. So I don't really know how people considered me or how they thought of me. I was a really interesting kind of in-between kind of person. But I was the real artsy, nerdy kid. I got my first poem published in 5th grade, and I was always constantly writing in this journal, and the only time I ever got an A was in English or in art class. But yeah, in our school, I remember on football Fridays, which is when we play our football games, in high school, they would play over the intercom. They would play country music. The song that our football players came out to was "Country Boys Can't Survive" by Hank Williams, and everyone would eat biscuits and gravy. Not me, because I've never liked white gravy. But for some odd reason, I realize that's very uncountry of me, and I used to eat chicken livers and all this stuff, but I just can't stand that white floury gravy. It was just so gross to me, but everyone would always eat it and hang out in the hallway and talk about fucking football. And I used to, like I said, I used to hate living in a small town, but everyone cares about everyone here, and that can be kind of double-edged sword because everyone cares about your shit, and everyone's all in your shit, especially if it's a bad thing. But if you were sick, you hear about all the time about people collapsing in a city and no one helping them, or someone dying and then no one finds out for weeks and weeks and weeks, and that would never happen here because everyone knows everyone and everyone knows your business. My graduating class was 120 people, and so I am friends with every single person I grew up with, just about. My best friend has been my best friend since I was 3, and so yeah, we have a little downtown area. We used to hang out there a lot. There's a gazebo in town, in the middle of our park, which is where everyone kind of hung out. It's where my first boyfriend proposed to me, and my second, I've only had 2 really serious boyfriends. I've dated, but I've only had 2 really serious boyfriends because I'm kind of an all or nothing kind of person. But he, right before he left for Japan, we kind of hung out in gazebo in the middle of the night with coffees from the Speedway. And yeah, that's what the latitude and longitudinal coordinates on my arms are for. It's that gazebo in the middle of the town. And there's one bar here, but we have 5 pizza places and 4 hair places. It's ridiculous. And what else? We have a hardware store and a propane store, which my family owns. And we used to go there and we would get pops, and then we would like go to the park, or we would just like walk around town until we got our licenses, and then we would drive, and occasionally we'd go to the mall, but mostly we would just like hang out because there's not much else to do because it's a really small town. What else? There's this guy, everyone calls him Rooster, and he is about 70, 60, late 60s, early 70s now, and he's mentally retarded, and his mom died a couple of years ago, but he's the nicest guy, and he always walks around town, and everyone takes care of him. Like the fire department, like when you first meet him, he'll introduce himself, and he'll say, "Hi, I'm Rooster, I'm from the fire department, and I'm an EMT," and they've given him a little walkie-talkie that he can talk to them with, and it like shows their dispatches or whatever, like he can listen to it, and he has a shirt with his name on it and the fire department and everything, like their logos, and he rides around town on his bike, and he calls my dad's, like this lady that works for my dad, Shirley, he calls her mom, like right after his mom died, he came in and he's like, well, I'm gonna start calling you mom, okay? And she's like, "Yeah, okay." And he'll come in and he'll tell her about his day, and he goes to like the restaurants that we have. We have a little bakery, and we have the bar slash restaurant thing, and we have a Mexican restaurant and like a country cooking restaurant, and he'll go in there and get like free food from them. And like he always gets his hair cut for free from the hair places, and there's a lady that does manicures and pedicures downtown, and like he'll get his nails clipped for free by her, and everyone just kind of takes care of him, and he will like ride his bike and tell everyone about his day, and that would never happen in a big city, and I really like that, and I think that's really nice. We also have this guy called Belt Buckle Chuck, which is he's kind of odd, but he used to wear like these big, and he still does, these big belt buckles, and his name is Charles, so Belt Buckle Chuck. Like the other day I saw him going down the road, and he had these suitcases on a dog leash, and he was like dragging them around, which is weird. I don't know why. You never know why he's doing the stuff he's doing. He's Belt Buckle Chuck, whatever. And sometimes like he'll wear his mom's muumuus, like her giant like floral house coats, and he came into our store once in his mom's muumuu and told my brother that he fucked his dog once, which is pretty interesting. And sometimes he'll ride his like riding lawnmower, because I don't think he can get his license, but he'll ride his mom's riding lawnmower like down to the bar to get a drink, which is fun. And yeah, I don't know. We have a lot of weird small town stories. Like there was this girl, someone was trying to steal her horses. I think her name was Marissa Alexander, and she chased them down. This is when she was in my brother's grade, and I was maybe like a freshman in high school, so she was a junior. And she chased these guys down, and she hog-tied them with rope, and then she went in and called the cops. And she was on like the Today Show and like Maury and shit for like what she did. It was so funny. And I don't know, I just really love it, and I used to hate it, but it's so nice to be able to go on these long rides in the country and to like cook out. Like we used to have bonfires all the time. Like that's the big thing to do. Like after football games, or like the day before a football game, or usually the day after, because like football players can't eat bad stuff or like drink before they, like the night before they play. But we would do like these big bonfires, and it's funny because I feel like when people ask, like when people from other countries have this view of what Americana is really like, I can actually say like, yeah, this is what my dad is really like. It is really sort of your typical all-American kind of town, and I really love it, and everyone's really nice, and I can think of a lot of other places I would like to live, but I would always I think I would want to come back here and raise my kids. But I don't know, I'll see where life takes me. And I'm going to do a scenery thing, or I might not as well. So I'm not going to edit this, and I'm going to wrap this up, and then I'm going to do that. So, yeah. Bye. Yeah, this is the historical downtown area. Every place in this town is historical, pretty much.
In the Baijiu.
This is the Baijiu. One of my friends had their wedding there a while back. It's like $3 for a ticket, and they only show one movie.
For a month. For weeks.
Yeah, for like weeks and weeks. But it's $3 a ticket, and it's like 100-some seats. Maybe just like a little over 100. I love that road down there. It's so pretty.
Here's a Florentine that Abraham Lincoln slept there.
Abraham Lincoln slept here, and it used to be a hotel, and now it's a really good restaurant. They have really good food and a bar. Super nice.
And a bed and breakfast.
And here's a bed and breakfast where the founder of our town, Philip Gunkel, he used to live there. Right in here, this church. It's got a little basement area, and there's a place called Lowe's Hug. We never went to the actual church, but keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Right there. Love's a Hug is right in there. And my mom was always paranoid about pulling out here because she didn't want to hit me little chitlins. But oh look, they're out there playing. Lots of memories down in there. That's so nice. And when I would cry and stuff, because my brother's only 2 years older than me, and when I would cry and like freak out, they would take me down to his classroom, and he'd be super embarrassed of me. So he's pretty much been embarrassed of me since day one. They have really cool apartments. And this place used to be a hospital in the Civil War. Right there. A lot of places around here used to be a hospital in the Civil War. And then the drive-thru is right down there, and we used to go there all the time and get maybe. There's a museum. Did you know that? That's a new museum.
Yeah, it's over. This used to belong to the
Armitha.
Years ago in 1800s, around the Civil War, and the guy hung himself right
in that middle window right there. He hung himself from like the chandelier or something, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Just a little creepy factoid for you. Like 100-some. Right here is the bikeway right down through there. It goes all the way around that like bit of farmland and all the way around the park. And right through there, hold on, we'll see if you can see it. Right there is where we used to swim, like farther down on. And there were these ropes attached to trees, and we would jump from them and into the nasty creek water. And sometimes to go to school, we would walk up here, and it's like a really steep hill, and with my asthma, it'd be horrible. Here's our middle school. See it coming right there, and our elementary school's right down there as well. It's my grandma's house. It's not pretty. And right over here on the porch of this house, this is where I was brought home from the hospital, and that's where my dad proposed to my mom. Isn't that cool? Right across the street from my grandma. And my room was like right up there, wasn't it, by the balcony thing?
Mm-hmm.
That's where my dad proposed to my mama. Precious. And this guy Wendell used to live right there. I was born on his birthday, but he's dead now. He was really nice. And here's our little area. That's such a pretty house.
Yeah, it goes back there forever.
So they have like English gardens in the back too, and I really like this house as well because it's got huge like steepled sort of middle school. And this building right there is, this is Laughs. This is the bar that I was talking about. This is the that's not
Old Opera House.
Yeah, that used to be the Opera House. Now there's apparently a club up there somewhere. There's a Mexican restaurant down at the bottom there.
This is Laughs.
This is the majestic Laughs where everyone spends their weekends and gets super drunk. And the Oasis, that's what it's called now apparently.
The old firehouse.
The old firehouse, which is now a tattoo parlor, which is interesting. There's the old folks' home.
It's not a home.
Well,
it's a civic center.
It's a center where people go. That's where I used to get my hair done, but that lady charges so much. This kid Nick. And right down that road is Romar Skating Rink, where I spent most of my childhood. Not actually skating. By the way, I can't actually skate. We just, didn't the Wright brothers used to, their dad used to preach there.
Their dad used to preach.
The people that invented flight. Right there, their dad used to preach there. Isn't that cool? Just a little bit of history for y'all. And anyway, yeah, I don't know how to skate, but I used to go there and I would wait for the moonlight and I would wait for a boy to lean on so I could skate the moonlight. And then that was like my whole damn night. And I would just sit there and like hang. the library where me and my hood rat friends used to hang out all the time.
The new library.
This is the new library. This is the old library, which is now the Historical Society. Isn't that pretty? I'd rather have the library be in there, wouldn't you?
I would, yes.
It's very pretty. This is our store. There's the booster, and this is our hardware store. You can see it through all the cars parked out in front because we're so popular. Look at that. Isn't that nice? And propane. If you ever have any propane needs, there's KJ/Kathy's Kitchen. We used to be Kathy's Kitchen. Oh yeah, our mayor's been the mayor of our town for like
ages.
Forever. No one ever votes him out because no one else wants his job. And he doesn't have to do anything, but he gets paid, so that's a good time.
And the back on it of his truck reads, "One gray old mayor."
So this is the road down to where the park is. This is where we're going right now. And there's, right beyond that church right there, there's this old, like, army training place. It's called Camp Miami. No, because I don't want to, like, show them. Well, can you drive up near there? Oh, yeah, you can drive up near there. My uncle owns it, but it's, like, falling down. Anyway, here's the park, and there's the gazebo I was telling you about right there. There it is. Our little tiny park.
And the pool is back there.
Oh, yeah, our pool. Where I almost drowned Andrew Pritchett because he tried to drown my brother. I almost drowned Andrew Pritchett.
This is Sunsbury.
When we used to ask my dad if we were going to go on vacation for the summer, he'd be like, "Yep, going to Sunsbury." Every time. This used to be a burger bar right down in there, but now it's a pizza place. But this place right here, my great-great-grandfather apparently was a blacksmith. This barn right here, and he used to own it. And I guess he sold it, and then they tried to get it back, but the guy wouldn't sell it back to him, so we don't own it anymore, but that's where he used to do his blacksmithing things. And then right out this hill is our propane plant, y'all. We sell propane and propane accessories. That's our cell phone tower, by the way.
Right there,
Georgie Cane and Company. So nice. I don't know if you can see that. Yep.
Right here, you can see that.
Yeah. There's these big old propane tanks. Propane and propane. My father apparently was a... And then down here we're going to show you this. Yeah, look at that redneck truck, y'all. Look at dirt on the back. Dirt. That's a statement. This is the covered bridge. It's one of the only ones left in the country or something. And you can't drive on it anymore. Because some guy was on his motorcycle like forever ago. And we used to like write our names on it, and like Sarah Loves Daniel is written on there somewhere.
No, a guy was drunk and he hit it, about just
tore the whole thing down. Yeah. So then they rebuilt it, or like refurbished it or whatever. This is how good it is. So, Mom, do you like living in this town?
I love living in this town.
Do you love me?
Everybody knows everybody.
Do you love me?
And you know what your kids are doing?
Do you love me?
Every night.
Okay.
Yes, I do very much. Oh, Germantown Popo.
Oh, hey!
One of 3 cars.
Yeah. I like that house.
I like
Yeah, these people have a crap ton of stuff in their front yard. Look at this. This is a redneck front yard. They don't even rest. Hold on.
Tank.
Oh yeah, they have a cane tank. See that cane propane tank right there? Mm-hmm. That was like a game. Here's the pretty barn. But that was a game that we played when we were little. So you could spot the cane tanks. Except my dad knew where they all were buried, like underground, so we always went. But this is the pretty barn. That was like a game. Here is my aunt's farm. Right there it is. Super nice, super nice. Lots of land. She has a lot of really pretty land in back, but you can't.
She's just starting to restore it.
Okay,
She just got it.
yeah. And there's my high school in the distance, surrounded by cornfields. Our football field, like our main football field, was behind the middle school because it used to be the high school. But this is like the back of my high school. That's what we had.
You just get made fun of because you're surrounded by cornfields.
Yeah. And for some reason our school was known for being slutty, which is weird. I don't know. There's our high school. Fancy, fancy.